The Cleveland Cavaliers have saved their season for now, while the LA Lakers are pretty much facing a sweep to the Thunder. We'll talk about those games and talk about the games tomorrow between the Spurs and the Wolves and the Sixers and the Knicks. All that coming up right now. All right, so today we got to watch the Lakers take on the Thunder in Game 3 of that series, while the Cavs were at home taking on the Detroit Pistons, trying to save their season and avoid going down 3-0. So both home teams trying to avoid that 3-0 hole. The Cavs were able to get it done. The Lakers were not. I'll start with the Cavs because obviously I have been on them. The reason I've been on them is because I think they are more talented than these teams that they're going up against, like Toronto and Detroit, but they just don't bring it. And they bring it when desperation has to hit, and that's when they obviously get desperate and bring it, and they squeak out a win here at home. But they are, in my opinion, hanging on by a thread and playing with fire. Because if they would have brought it like they brought it in the fourth quarter today in games 1 and 2, and I'm talking about for the whole 48 minutes, I think they would have split at least in Detroit, right? But look, I've bashed James Harden repeatedly. And I've repeatedly said I'm not bashing him for his offense. I'm bashing him for his defense, because defense wins championships, and that is where I can mostly measure effort and intensity and just straight up will and desperation, right? When teams are desperate, that's why game 7s or games later in series, there's less points being scored. I mean, I don't know what the exact number is going to be, but I guarantee that over the history of time, that game 7s tend to produce less points than a game 1 of a series because the intensity picks up. The guys are locking in defensively. They're paying attention to detail. That side of the ball is when you can really tell when guys really want it and when they're applying themselves full on. James Harden, even today, where people are somehow crowning him for having a great game, what a good game from James Harden. He had 19 points on 8 for 14 shooting, 7 assists, and just 3 turnovers today. Yeah, solid. But am I allowed to criticize this game? Or are you going to tell me, well, no, he had a really good game? Well, I'll ask you this. If he had a really good game, what is the biggest asset that you would say James Harden brings to the team? Why did the Cavs bring him? Was it for scoring? Because if it was for scoring, he finished with 19 points. Hell, if he had a great game, what did Donovan Mitchell have? Because he finished with 35 points, right? So we're not like, what is the big asset of James Harden? Is it assists and playmaking? Well, he finished with 7 assists, right? It's not like he finished with 14 assists. He finished with 7, and he has the ball a lot of the time, right? I mean, hell, Cade Cunningham had 10 assists. So I just don't understand when people want to say they look at James. And look, I like James Harden. I really, honestly, I've grown up with James Harden. I've watched him play basketball. Those Rockets years were awesome. I'm not trying to just attack James Harden here. I want to go after all, players that don't bring it, because this is that level. And the reason I'm hard on James Harden is because I believe that if he brought it today, he made big buckets, and people are going to be like, damn, James made big buckets. Yeah, he did. But, he wouldn't have had to even been in that situation if he would have brought the intensity from the get-go on the defensive end. There was a turnover earlier in the game. I think it was in the second quarter, where Donovan Mitchell is running back. There's 2 guys for Detroit running. If you watch that replay, I promise you, James Harden, watch him. He is jogging back. And nobody, and you can say it was Donovan Mitchell's fault, sure, because he didn't stop ball. Because whoever it was for the Pistons just had a straight line right for a dunk. But if Harden ran 100%, he had the angle. He would have gotten in front of that free runner for the Pistons. And that's what Donovan Mitchell was planning on. That's why Donovan Mitchell, if you watch that, when the dunk happens, he looked at James Harden almost like, I thought you were going to get him. Because Harden had the angle. He just didn't have the will. He didn't care to run back. So, again, if Harden played in the fourth quarter, though, Harden played. Watch the fourth quarter, and you'll see that he's running back on defense because desperation kicked in. If he would have played like that the first 2 quarters, they wouldn't have won 116 to 109. They might have won by 20 against Detroit tonight. So that's why I'm tough on Harden. I'm tough on the Cavs team because I think they're loaded. I mean, I think they've got talent all over the place. Harden, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley was supposed to be the next Tim Duncan, the next Kevin Garnett. Well, what happened? We got 13 and 8 tonight. All right, at least he showed some aggressiveness. The other day, he played 36 minutes and had 1 rebound in 36 minutes as a near 7-footer. Jared Allen, 18 points and 4 rebounds. You got to give me more than 4 rebounds. So, again, credit Dennis Schroeder. He comes in, he plays hard. Honestly, even credit Max Strus. I thought he came in and gave them a spark. I mean, he only shot 3 for 7, but you could see him. He forced Cade Cunningham. At one point, Cade Cunningham was inbounding underneath his own basket, and Max Strus, by just applying pressure and having some energy there, caused a turnover and got the ball back in Cleveland's hands. He did that 2 separate times where he forced Cade into terrible turnovers. It's effort. It's will. It's fight. So that's the thing. Harden played 40 minutes. If you're going to play 40 minutes, man, you better bring it. Honestly, the lineup with Strus in there might give me better effort on defense. And then I guess maybe we'll put you in for your offense. But even offensively, is 19 points something for me that's going to get my jaw on the ground from James Harden, a guy I'm paying damn nearly a max contract to? No. So what are we bringing you for? If you're here for scoring, then today's not a great game. 19 points ain't it, right? If we're bringing you in for playmaking, 7 assists ain't it. So that's fine. You can have a 19 and 7 if you're giving me effort on the other side. And again, I'm going to stop harping on it now, but that's, that fourth quarter James Harden is what we need to see the whole game. If he plays like that from the get-go, I think they'll blow the Pistons out. And to me, he's the X factor here, right? So again, it's him and Evan Mobley pretty much. Those two got to bring it. Detroit, on the other hand, Cade is just the best player on the court every single game. The guy's amazing. He didn't even shoot the ball well, 10 for 27 shooting. But he made buckets late. He made it tight. And then Jalen Duren's just, I don't know what's up with him these playoffs. Another dud, essentially 11 points and 4 rebounds. But, he gives effort on defense, which is helpful, and that's fine. But if it's not for Tobias Harris, we'd be talking about Jalen Duren, right? So, again, the Pistons, their depth didn't really come through today. LeVert had some nice minutes here, 6 points. Paul Reed played well. Maybe he sees some more time because he only played 10 minutes to Jalen Duren's 29 minutes, and Paul Reed had the same number of points and 1 less rebound in 19 less minutes than Jalen Duren. So we might see some more Paul Reed minutes and maybe even less Isaiah Stewart minutes. He played 9 tonight. So we'll see how that rotation goes on. OKC and LA, that was the other game tonight. The Cavs saved their season. The Lakers did not. They go down 3-0. I'm going to do a separate podcast, talk about the Thunder, because what they're doing is freaking incredible. But let's talk about the Lakers. Austin Reeves got a little exposed on defense here. SGA was just juking him left and right, getting to the rim when he wanted. And then once you get those guys, the Lakers on rotation defensively, and the Thunder are so good at sharing the basketball, it's pretty much unstoppable. LeBron had 19, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 7 for 19 shooting. There's only so much we can ask of LeBron. I mean, I have so much respect for how he plays basketball and how he's still playing basketball at this age. Rui Hachimura has been a nice surprise for the Lakers with how he's elevated his scoring with Luka Doncic absent. He put up 21 tonight. Just not enough, man. Honestly, nothing negative to even say about the Lakers. You can kind of feel it. I think this is a sweep now. Like I said, I thought this was the game the Lakers needed to make it a 5-game series. But if they drop this one, I said it's a sweep, and it really was. AJ Mitchell is just incredible for the Thunder. Again, we'll talk about them in a separate podcast. But the Lakers, look, I just think Luke Kennard played well, 18 points, 7 for 10, but there's nothing you can do really for this team against the Thunder. And you could feel it with JJ Redick in the post game and even LeBron. Once the team starts complimenting the other team in the series and saying they're just a really good basketball team, and they don't even bring up there's adjustments we can make or I know what we have to do or anything like that. It's a wrap. They know it's a wrap. Maybe they'll start off and play hard in the first quarter, but I think the Thunder are going to shut the thing down in game 4, and that'll be it. All right, looking ahead, tomorrow's games, the Sixers try to, show some effort here in game 4. Not that they didn't even try in game 3. They tried, but the Knicks are just too good, and they're playing too good right now, and they're moving the ball, and they got Brunson, who in the beginning of the series before it started, I said him and Maxey were comparable, and Brunson has proven me wrong. he's shown me like, hey, man, I'm on another level. And he is. He really is. Cat's been playing well despite his numbers not being tremendous. I mean, it's also because he's been getting in foul trouble again. But defensively, he seems to be in the right spots. And offensively, he's been a force when he gets his chances. We'll see, obviously, how that game goes. I also think maybe Philly gets one here just because it's a closer series than the Lakers and OKC. But, man, I feel bad for Philly. I feel bad for Embiid with him battling injuries. And I feel bad for the guys having to deal with so many Knicks fans in their building. Embiid try to, preemptively get ahead of this and tell his Sixers fans not to sell their tickets. And it looks like they still did because Knicks fans showed up and showed out in game 3. And I wouldn't be surprised if they do in game 4. And if it's close, I just think Philly will kind of cave there towards the end. It's hard to, I couldn't imagine being a player trying to put on for the city and hearing half the arena cheer when I miss a free throw. Like, that's tough. You're at home. So yeah, we'll see how that one plays out. Hopefully it's a good game though, at least, and we can get a good one here with the Knicks and the Sixers. San Antonio at Minnesota. Julius Randle, man, that's the X factor, honestly. Ant Edwards has shown up. He's been playing great. This is the Wolves season on the line right here. They're down 2-1. They got to win here. If they win this, then they apply pressure to San Antonio when it goes back to game 5. But Minnesota's dealt with injuries, but at this point, it's just that San Antonio's just even executed better and just played better. And I hate to say this because I love Anthony Edwards, but San Antonio just has the best player on the floor. Victor Wembanyama has been tremendous. I mean, his last game was one for the ages that we'll remember as probably his I'm here game, because his stats were unreal in game 3. He finished with 39 points, 15 rebounds, 5 blocks. If you watch that game, that fourth quarter, he took that over. And he kind of shut the door on any Wolves run that they were trying to make. And we'll see. Julius Randle's just got to go up and challenge Victor and not worry about it, because I know it's easier said than done, but man, he was missing layups. It's like Victor was in his head. He went 3 for 12 shooting. And then also, Ant shot the ball 12 for 26, but Jaden McDaniel shot 5 for 22. That's feeding right into the Spurs game plan, right? Like, I'm sure if you ask the Spurs, hey, who would you want taking 22 shots? Jaden McDaniels or Julius Randle, they'd say, give me McDaniels, right? Because he's not known to be the scorer that Julius Randle is, and that's exactly what the Wolves got played into. So this next game, they better get some better looks for Ant Edwards, and they maybe try to create something for Julius Randle. But like I said, they're running out of guys. Ayo Dosunmu maybe can do something, but even Naz Reid had a pretty good game last game, 18 points, 6 for 13 shooting, and they still, lost at home. So contain Victor, do what you can with him. Rudy, play defense as good as you can, but it looks like a tough road ahead for Minnesota. I'll give them some credit, though. I think they can pull out one more win here. I thought they would win this series in 7, just because I thought Victor and the Spurs were pretty young and inexperienced would kick them in the ass. But the way Victor played, I mean, there's no inexperience there. The guy was ready for the moment, right? That would have been the game. It's game 3. It's 1-1. The crowd's going crazy for Minnesota. They're making a comeback, and then Victor just calmly shot a 3, got another bucket. Like, he just took over the game. So, again, the only way maybe the inexperience shows up is if somehow the Wolves can back them into a corner, apply the pressure with the series, sending it back to San Antonio, a tie series 2-2, backing them up into the ropes. But they did that, and the Spurs responded from game 1 to game 2. So tough to see this Spurs team, and tough for me to call them inexperienced when they've shown that, maybe they are really ready for this moment. So, all right, I'm excited to see those games tomorrow. I hope you guys enjoyed watching the games today. If you enjoyed this episode, if you like this, please just like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I'll talk to y'all on the next one. Appreciate y'all.